23rd of May 2019, and if you just joined us, right in time for our Tech Note conversation. But before we get into our Tech Note conversation, it's time for us to take a look at what made history in Today in History.
Today in History. Today in History.
Now, this is a conversation that you cannot afford to miss, so grab your friend and let's do this together. The battle with cancer is a term used widely by the media when referring to people suffering from cancer. It has been, however, argued that by experts that such words are inappropriate because cancer can be defeated if one fights hard enough. This morning, we are joined by a lady who has lost both her breasts to cancer, but she has picked up the pieces and has hope for a new and brighter day. So be sure to tap into this and grab some hope if you can, just for you and for someone that you know who is suffering from cancer. So this morning we're joined by Dr. Jane Fualal Obudu. She is a senior consultant, senior consultant surgeon at Mulago Hospital right here in the country. And also we are joined by Miss Margaret Akello. She is a breast cancer survivor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I am. This is a very, very touchy subject for me. I had battles with Mala on me skipping this bit because I have lost two very important people in my life to cancer. And when the discussion with cancer, every single time you hear that discussion with cancer, like it was said earlier on, that it is a battle with cancer. That's always a statement that is released because not very many people that we know have won this battle. But it's good to sit on the same table with someone that has battled and won this battle with cancer. So let me begin with the patient. No, not a patient anymore.
No,
I'm a
we can't even. You are. I think you are the winner. You are the David in this Goliath story. So let's talk about you and the first day that you got to find out that you had cancer. How did you find out? At what stage was it? And what that feeling? How did you deal with that in the first place? So just right at the beginning, just the beginning in a nutshell.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good morning, viewers. You're taking me aback.
Yeah.
It's 12 years down the line, but I still remember vividly what happened. I accidentally, doing my jogging, running around the house because I had kind of gained weight, and I accidentally touched my right breast, and I felt something small but protruding. Brother Sam touched it, squeezed it, and it was just stuck there, hard but not painful. I continued for a week, and I couldn't tell.
Which is this?
That is 2007.
Okay.
And then I couldn't tell my husband because he was busy doing his exams. I said, let me not bother him. So after a week when he had finished, I said, actually, I have something here. He said, what? And you are seated on it? Quickly to the physician. So I went to my physician, who happened to be also my friend. He's now Professor Harriet Mayanja at Mulago Hospital. By then he was at a big clinic. So I went there and I showed her, and she was like, oh, okay, Margaret, let's go, you go and do a mammogram. So I went, I had a mammography done, and when I brought the results, showed that actually there were 2 lumps. I felt one, but the results showed that there were 2. So I took the results back to her.
2 lumps in one breast?
In one breast. I felt one, but now the investigation and can reveal that actually there were 2. Mm-hmm. So I took them to her, and she was like, okay, I'll hand you over to the surgeon so that they can do a biopsy. And she said, actually, I want the lumps removed, okay? So I went, I was handed over to the surgeon. After 2 days, I went to Kadik Hospital. He did the procedure, and that was, I think, Dr. Mutumba. Mm-hmm. And whilst he was doing the procedure, he found actually there was a 3rd one.
Wow.
So basically they became 3.
On the same breast?
On the same breast. Removed all of them, gave them to my husband. My husband took them to the pathologist in town. And I think that is Professor War. And after that, told us 2 days to come and pick the results. I came with my husband, picked the results, and the results were shocking. And they all meant that I had cancer. They were all cancerous. They had cancer cells in them, all the 3. It was unbelievable. I told the professor, I think there was a mix-up somewhere. I think these cannot be my results. There was denial, of course. And it continued and said, you know what, Margaret, go back. It was a Saturday, come back on Monday. When you have digested all this, and then you have to start medication immediately.
So they discovered that these 3 lumps were actually cancerous.
Yes.
What stage are we looking at?
The staging came later, but it was stage 2A.
Stage 2A.
That is the beginning, just moved away from stage 1.
Wow.
Yeah, so I came back on Monday and talked to the doctor, the professor. I said, Margaret, don't waste any more time. Straight to Cancer Institute and don't go anywhere. That's what he advised me. Go to Cancer Institute, you'll be handled from there. Off I went to Cancer Institute. I had never been to Cancer Institute. Now here I was, I didn't know where to go. I was just there in tears. You know, first I won't explain because it's a long story. When I reached home, what happened, it was really devastating for my children to learn. I told them straight away, okay, because I didn't want to harbor it in myself. They were a bit, one was young, my youngest was in P3, but I told him, I said, Mommy is not well and I have cancer. So anyhow, when I reached Cancer Institute, I just walked blindly. Where did I find myself? At the director's office, crying with my results in that hand. I'm dying. I said, no, calm down. Gave me someone, said, help this lady, take her to the records office. They opened the file and started now the investigations. It was a long story. For 2 weeks, I was doing investigations from heart, ultrasound for the abdomen, everything. And then I also had to do a bone scan, okay, to see if it's cancer. How far has it moved? Is it already in the bones or not yet? So I did all those investigations in 2 weeks. Then I came back, I presented the results, and then I was told I was going to be started on chemo.
All right.
Yeah.
This is now right there. Let's just move to Dr. Fualal. I love your name. I think I might just name one of my daughters Fualal. She might ask me questions why I did, but this day will explain it. The beginning is very, very important. She was diagnosed at stage 2A. Many people get diagnosed at a stage where it's very hard to battle and win this case, and I think that's why very many people are losing out on this battle with cancer, because of the phase at which they find out when they have cancer. But she was, I think, lucky or blessed to have noticed that lump and go straight to for consultation. But a patient, where do they start as soon as you feel that lump? Because I have an auntie who fell victim to this. Felt that lump, went to a clinic. Clinic said, well, you have something, but let's take a piece of it so that we can go and do
a biopsy.
And that was the beginning of her end. Because I later on learned that you don't just cut cutting anything cancerous is very dangerous. So explain that beginning for us.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, viewers. Cancer of the breast, let's talk specifically of the breast, because today is 70% of these cancers are diagnosed by the patient. And so we always advise our clients or our patients to always have a breast self-examination. And in 70% of cases, it is the patient that notices a lump in her breast. And then when she notices a lump in her breast, then she should go to her health care giver, okay? And who will again re-examine her and then confirm there's a mass there. How do we do this confirmation? Ultrasound of the breast, and if the patient is over 35 years of age or 35 and above, then we do mammography. Now, the next investigation we do is a fine needle aspiration. Just as you said that we don't want to cut through a cancer. So if you notice that mass, if it is big enough for you to do it by yourself as a doctor, you can do it even in a side room. You push a needle into this lump, and then
you extract.
A few. No, they are not fluids usually.
Cells.
It is solid.
Okay.
A few of them have fluids. So you remove the cells and put it on a microscope slide and send it to the pathologist to read. And when the results come out, then that is when you start planning surgery. But most times you find that the lump is painless, and the patient will never come to you when she does not feel pain. She'll feel it, and then because it is not inconveniencing her, it is not painful, she'll just live with it. So that's why most times you find the patients coming in a late stage when it has grown, it is infiltrating the skin. Yeah, it is painful.
It has caused some discomfort with you. That's when your mind is alerted that there's something wrong here.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
For Margaret, it got to a point whereby both the breasts had to be taken out, mastectomy, so to speak. How did you get to that stage? Because many will say that after removing the lumps, really, after all the investigations, just to ensure that these cancerous cells have not moved to other organs of the body. How did you get to that point, Margaret?
Okay, when I started chemo, my doctor told me that I was going to have 6 rounds of chemo or 6 cycles. So after 4, said, okay, I'm sending you back to do investigations afresh. So like you are restarting again, so that he can determine or see where you have reached, okay? So I went back again to have mammography done. Now, the shocking news was that it revealed that there were 2 lumps in the left breast as well, which never surfaced during the first one, okay? So when I took the results to my doctor, I said, now, Margaret, we have no choice. We've got to get rid of both breasts. It was just devastating. I was kind of grappling with losing one. Now, 2, it sent me really beneath the sea. The good thing, it's good when you have loved ones, because my husband really encouraged me and said, Margaret, we love you with or without breast, me and the children. We need you alive, okay? So whatever happens, you know that we still love you, so we want you alive. Whatever has to be done, whether breast removed, you still leave you alive. And I love that.
Right there is where I have to ask you the importance of family, the importance of friends, especially when you're going through that time. Many patients keep it to themselves because they don't want that feeling to spread over to the whole family, the friends and everyone, just every single morning looking at you with this sad face of she's about to go, she's about to leave us. How important is family?
You cannot underestimate the power of family when it comes to to illnesses like cancer, because it's for a protracted period of time. It's not going away tomorrow. So family played a big role in my life, especially my husband and the children. And my friends. My physician is my friend. And actually before I even went to have, before it was decided that I should have mastectomy, she told me, Margaret, even if it reaches a point of you losing the breast, please accept. And actually, me as your friend, I prefer that they take off both breasts. I was so surprised. I said, is it because it's not on you? It's easier said. How can you say this? Huh? I'm really here trying to grasp losing one. And now here you're telling me both. Before they even discovered in the second one, by the way.
She had already said that
she had, that please, it's better so that you can live cancer-free, you don't have worries, because you're still young. But when it happened, I went back to
that moment.
I said, you know, if you are not my friend, I'll say you are the best witch ever to have lived. I told her that because what you said came to pass. Okay? So all this was in my mind. I said, God, I think there's a message for me. And I was born again. So I said, there's a message for me here. Why all this is revealing itself. I believe God wants to give me a second chance to life.
Dr. Jane, just help us understand, and I think you need to speak to the viewer, them that have, you know, a friend or a family member, or even themselves, you know, battling with cancer. How important is it for someone to fight this battle from the mind? How important is it in terms of finding an ultimate cure?
You know, most times when a patient presents to you, the first thing that will happen to that patient when you tell her, sorry, but I think you have breast cancer. Most times my patients break down and cry. But I tell them it would be very unusual if you did not cry. That's what I always tell them. And I leave them in my examination room and I tell them, cry until you can cry no more. So when they've settled down, then I go back and sit with them. And then we start talking all over. Then the next visit, I tell them always to come with a friend,
someone to keep them, hold their hands.
Yes, to hold their hands. We go through a lot of counseling sessions before we finally zero on the modality of treatment. Yes.
Dr. Fuller, let's now get to the treatment. She got diagnosed. They suggested that both her breasts be removed. Let's get to you now that has to deal with the patient. Besides counseling them, now it's action time.
Yes. Most times you are faced with the two categories of patient, actually three. One may be a young lady who still has a family or who has not yet made a family, because the next thing she'll ask you, how will I feed my baby? Yes, or will I ever have a child? If you are lucky to have one who has had 1 or 2 children, say no. After that, you may have another child, or you can even still be able to breastfeed with the other breast. But now if both of them are gone, what we say, there are a lot of formula.
Correct.
Yes, and God is so great for us that she's given us all the animals to give us milk. And most of these children survive on that. So, and then the next other person is an elderly person who may not bother so much in losing the breast. Then the third category is the male patient, because even men get breast cancer. So with the men, the only issue is they have rudimentary, that is malformed or underformed breasts. So you'll find that even a small cancer in the male breast has either fixed itself on the chest or fixed itself on the skin. So the next thing is you counsel them that I'm going to remove this breast because it contains cancer, and in removing the breast I'll remove the whole of it, and then also the lymph nodes in your armpit. And then we send it for analysis, and that is the only way you'll get cured. Of course, sometimes you'll find that somebody will say, are you removing the whole of it? But we found that, as you've heard Margaret say, there were 3 lumps in the left breast. So you cannot go picking each of the lumps. You will leave some cancer tissue inside. And then usually when the cancer is more than 2 centimeters, you are never sure that there's no other cell somewhere. So the best in our patients in Uganda or in Africa or the black race is best to remove the whole breast.
Doctor, as we wrap this up, you must feel like Superwoman walking out of that surgery room, knowing that, yeah, my patient is now safe and they're cancer-free. Cancer cells spread very, very fast. That feeling of walking out of that room, knowing that the person that you just operated on is going to move out and we're going to have a success story like this.
Yes, when you remove the breast, it's not the end of the story. You must send this patient to an oncologist who will give the patient chemotherapy. And here we use drugs which we give every 28 days and for 6 months, because that is like a missile. Should there be any cell that has gone out, so the chemotherapy goes everywhere and hits it.
Okay.
Yes, then after that the patient undergoes radiotherapy. You know, in our local language here, they say, oh, they are going to burn the chest. Yes, she has to undergo radiotherapy. That controls any other cancer that would have been left on the chest wall and kills it. Then after, the patient will have to take some drugs for 5 to 10 years, 1 tablet a day.
Okay.
Yes.
Margaret, we're coming to a close. I want you to close this for us. Yes. Camera 3 is your camera. Actually, this small camera is yours. Yes. Just speak to someone who is battling with cancer. Encourage them this morning.
Okay. Dear viewers and all those who are patients or those who have their beloved ones suffering from breast cancer or other cancers, all I want to give you is hope. There is life after cancer treatment. I've survived, and I know many more can survive, and many more are surviving out there. But the issue is that we have to be courageous, and one of the things that helped me was spiritual. Okay, we have to grow spiritually, because there are certain forces that you cannot control in your life. Even if you have your best friends, your family, but sometimes you feel all alone, and it's your Almighty God who is there to give you, to encourage you. But again, we should also take heed and listen to the doctor's advices. Right. Sometimes we go astray, go for herbal treatment, which even aggravates the situation. So let's be good patients by listening to the doctor's advice, and also caring what the caregivers give to us. Right. We should be thankful, because they do a lot for us in this journey.
Thank you so much, Margaret Akello, for coming in studios and sharing your journey and your, we salute you. May God keep you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jane Odubu, Senior Consultant at Mulago Hospital. I hope that you have learned something, one thing or two, and that now you have a stronger resolve to fight this, just in case you are a cancer patient. All right, we wish you all the best, and God heals, as Margaret has said. Don't go too far. We're coming back with business updates. Something interesting in store for you. Keep it here.
Sights and sounds.